All right, today we made 1,500 bucks times two in two different My Funded Future Starter Plus accounts. My mic does sound a little bit different. I don't have it plugged in. I am elsewhere right now. However, you can see here we're on account 80, 1,500 bucks. Account 81, also 1,500 bucks here. Let's go ahead and move this down a little bit so you can actually see the move. This is on the 5-minute chart, and you can see this move was beautiful. Honestly, we could have held it for a lot more profit. However, on the Starter Plus account, you can only make half your profit one day, half your profit the next day. So you can't pass in one day, you got to pass in 2 days, and it's got to be 50-50. If I make more, then I got to make more overall. So 1,500 is where I stopped. However, as you can see, the entry was beautiful. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better entry here. Let's go ahead and check that real quick. I'm going to go over into the replay bar mode over here. So 8:20 a.m. Let's go ahead and go back a little bit and go to 8:20, which is right here. Let's go over into the replay mode and go to 8:20. Perfect. Right here. So here we can see that market opened, boom, completely fell, literally blasted past the pivot point, blasted past this pivot point as well. It came up, respected this pivot point. This would have been a great short as well. And my TP would have probably been at the next pivot point. And it doesn't matter because I missed out on that one anyway. So it did drop down. There was going to be a retracement at some point. Of course, there always is, right? And we're just moving up, moving up, moving up. I was actually really interested in a short here because it did tap this EMA level and it's been using it as sort of resistance to push it down. And so I was pretty interested in this. And then once I saw this huge green candle, I use white and black, but when I saw this white candle pop up, very, very, very strong, very bullish, I knew that it was going to try to find something else as a form of support. As a form of resistance. I wasn't sure why it popped up, but I went ahead and stayed patient, waited for my setup. If I moved over into the 5-minute chart, it's easier to see here that it's moving closer to the 5-minute EMA, and with higher time frames, that's always going to be better for you. How can I frame this? Higher time frames are always going to be more of a confluence than smaller time frames here. And so we can see the huge sell-off here, right? We're waiting for this to tap as close as it can to this 21 EMA here. This is just a regular 21 EMA, and we're waiting for it to get as close as it can, but not miss the move, because we know that when it does try to tap it, it's going to reject it really, really strongly. And I already knew that. So we went in with one contract. Let's actually go ahead and just click sell here, just so you can show you guys real quick. And then my TP was at 1,500 bucks, which is here. It'll be off by a few ticks, which is whatever, but I had it. Let's just do here. And then my stop loss was at 500 bucks. So I hit a 3-to-1. I was trying to get it as close to this top pivot point as I could, because I knew it was going to be a strong level of resistance to push it back down. You can see it happened over here very nicely. Sorry, it was a bad one. You can see it happen right here really nicely. And so I was using this as a form of resistance. I wanted my stop loss just to be at 500 just so I can have a nice little 3-to-1 RR. And as you can see, if we go over into the 5-minute chart, it is getting really, really close to that 21 EMA. So that's why I decided to choose it. It's above the 21 EMA. If it decided to break above the 21 EMA, we're probably no longer interested in it unless it gets supported by, or I'm sorry, unless it gets slapped down by this pivot point up here. And so we decided to take the risk to go ahead and go in with one contract. I was also trading. You can see here, this is the two my funded futures starter plus accounts. I got 80 and 81 here. Both made $1,500. I entered at about the same. I didn't enter them exactly the same. There's no groups. I didn't group them together. I traded them individually. However, I did want that same move. And if we go over actually to the if we go over to Topstep X, I also did take that trade. However, on that account, I don't really like trading on Topstep X, and I don't really trade Topstep X too much. However, I also did make $1,000 here. You can see that. Let's just go ahead and manual lock it out for all day. Yeah, lock me out. I mean, I'm not going to trade in that account anymore. But here you can see that it was only one trade, one win, 0 losses. That's how we like to do it, right? Waiting for the perfect move in order to just boom, get in there, minimal risk, set your TP, and hopefully, we can go ahead and get these 2 accounts funded with my funded futures. They are my favorite prop firm, especially their starter plus plans. However, let's go back over here and let's go ahead and just let it play out. So we're gonna go ahead and go into a 3x speed because it is actually 5x. Let's go ahead, boom. This initial move towards the downside, this huge candle right here, let's actually see if I can go back a little bit more here. Right here. Let's just actually go 1x. So we were down just a tiny bit, which is fine, obviously. Next candle, boom, drop down, and it is getting supported by this level of the VWAP AA. If you guys haven't seen my VWAP AA video, I use VWAP AA, which is this indicator right here. VWAP AA, I only have the regular VWAP and bands multiplier number 1 selected. I don't use anything else. And that's just what I use. This is regular VWAP, and then this is VWAP AA lower band and the upper band up here. We are bearish, and so with this strong bearish candle here, we can see that I was initially almost instantly up $300 after the first minute or two or whatever. It did slap down. However, I was just worried about this being a form of support. Sometimes it happens. And so just keeping an eye on it, managing my risk. As you can see, popped up. Obviously, you can see the wick of the candle, the end of the wick here. I like the fact that it ended, or it used 21 EMA on the 1-minute chart as just super strong resistance. It slapped it back down, and it's getting closer to that bottom VWAP AA band, and so I was really confident at this point that it was just going to continue dropping. Next candle here. Now it broke that bottom band, didn't come back up, and I like this. Next candle, boom. This was a really nice candle. This candle right here pretty much cemented the fact that, boom, we are now going to fall and keep falling, right? And I mean, in my live trade, obviously you don't see it, but in my live trade, I was around this point here. I saw it come down and then come back up, retracing that candle about halfway. And I was like, man, what if should I just take the profit here? And that's where your inner dialogue has to be like just lock in, man, and follow your plan. I think I did move my stop to break even, not at this current moment. However, just waited a tiny bit more. I ended up moving my stop to break even. Let's just say right here you could have moved your stop to break even. Now you have no risk on the table at all. We're just going to move this out of the way so we can see the total profit here. However, let's just assume that this is now on break even. Or actually, we can do this and then I guess not. Okay, so we'll just do that. So yeah, we're just, what's funny actually is I decided to just go on a walk because I knew that my emotions, sometimes, you have to learn how you are, right? I know myself. I know that if I was in front of that market, in front of the charts, I was probably going to close prematurely and then be mad at myself or try to FOMO back in and then not find an entry and, all those bad things. So it's decided to go on a walk. We have a park, just took one lap around the park. And when I came back, I was really close to my TP. So let's go ahead and keep it playing here. As you can see here, before this candle here, we had equal lows here. And this is where I was like, man, should I just take the profit and just call it a day, up $700, whatever. But I still had the vision of, man, this is just going to keep falling. There is this low down here that it's definitely wanted to get taken out or at least tapped into this little piece right here. Definitely want to get tapped into this little zone. And also, of course, there's this little form of support, which is keeping the candles up. What we wanted to see is just a clean break through the zone. Use this as a little bit of resistance, pushing it back down and hitting our TP, right? So let's go ahead and next candle. Boom. You can see we broke through that zone. We closed in the zone. And at this point, I was out on my walk, just stops at break even. If everything were to go incorrectly, we're no longer interested in that trade. And we stopped out. We didn't lose any money. And we're good, we can live to trade another day, right? So, boom, next candle did pop back up. No longer looking at it anymore. However, we can see here we do expect some sort of a small little retracement, and then slap back down, right? That's just candles don't just keep falling. Obviously, in some cases they do over here, especially when there's so many people in the markets. The first 30 minutes to an hour, there's just so many people. The moves are, can happen from 1 minute to another. This trade overall was about a 30-minute trade, and I feel like the fact that I went on my walk completely helped me just not FOMO out, not FOMO back in, not take more trades than I had to. One trade, one and done, boom, done deal, right? So let's go. Next one, next candle, did slap back up. Now it's using the VWAP AA and the 21 EMA as a form of resistance towards the downside. Next one. Very nice. Very nice. This would have also been a very good place to get in with another contract, or to, if you missed the first move, which was the one that I got into, just get into that one, right? Let's go ahead and click forward. Click forward. Boom, right here. This is gorgeous as well. This is one of my entry models right here. So, I mean, initially we have our move, which is up here. It has a little bit of a bigger stop loss here, but this move here would have been great. Stops at the top of this, going for a 2-to-1. And our 2-to-1 is perfectly on par with this bottom pivot point that we know it wants to reach. It just didn't have enough sellers at that time to get there, but we know it wants to get there, right? So let's go ahead and keep going. Next candle forward. next candle, next candle. A little bit of consolidation, completely fine. Alright, let's keep going. This is perfect here. Now we can see that it broke past the zone, it closed outside of the zone, and now in this next candle, it's using this zone here, which we marked out because of this candle here, this wick. I always mark out the wicks of the candles. So this wick right here, it is now using it as a form of resistance to slap it back down, right? So now the next zone that we're looking at is going to be our zone where our TP is, right? As you can see here, the next candle also using this zone as a perfect down to the tick almost form of resistance. Tap back in, closed right there. This candle I kind of don't like because it doesn't have a bottom wick at all. What we're gonna do actually here is just lock this. That way we don't have to move it around. Next candle here. We're still in the zone. Then we get a huge rejection. This is beautiful. This is where I think I took my profit for my Topstep account, somewhere around here. Or this is up $1,300. I took it. I also did take the Topstep account sell a lot further down, so I think we were up about 1,000 here, and I was like, I'm just gonna call it a day. We ended up breaking the previous lows here, and we are aiming for this next zone. On my funded futures accounts, went ahead and stayed in it. Obviously, I'm a little bit more confident in Trade of 8 and getting filled on Trade of 8, all that kind of stuff. So that also does take into consideration. You also do have to take into consideration the platform that you're using to trade, how confident you feel, how comfortable you feel, and all that good stuff. So next candle here, boom, super close. As you can see, this did tap into our zone, or it did tap our zone by like one tick right here, and it kind of slapped up a little bit. Completely fine. Staying in it, trusting yourself, and then boom, getting hit perfectly, and it just kept falling. As you can see, it used tapped into the pivot point. I mean, even if we were to have gotten in here, we would have gotten our 2-to-1. If you're risking $500 or however much you want to risk, that would have been good. Also, putting your stops above here would have been perfect as well, and that would have been a 4.5 to 4.5R, so that would have been gorgeous as well. Not interested in anything past this pivot point. We took our money, we're done for the day. One trade, easy trade, nice setup, everything went smoothly, and that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys on why I took this trade. The size, I was comfortable risking this amount of size, especially with it being just an eval, completely fine. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this. Learn to maybe step away while you're in a trade. I definitely have learned to do that, even if it's just sometimes taking the trade and then hopping into the shower. By the time you get out, you might still be in it, whatever it is, right? But the fact that you're not actively just staring at the chart and seeing every single tick and just being in your head about, oh, maybe it's going to reverse now, maybe it's going to hit my stop loss. It's all about just managing your risk and trusting your process, trusting your setup, trusting everything you're about, right? So thank you guys for watching. That was pretty much it.